Hello and welcome to week 3 of our regular racing game retrospectives. This week I have handed over the steering wheel, so to speak, or the yoke, maybe. Yeah.
Sure, yeah, why not?
To Mr. Cam Shea, who joins me. My name is Luke Riley. And as you may already be seeing on screen, our racing game of choice this week is the very classic original WipEout. Cam, take it away.
Luke, it's been so good revisiting this game, man.
Yeah.
It's been probably 15 years since I've played it. It's almost 20 years since this game came out. It was a launch title for the original PlayStation in Europe. Came out September 29, 1995. Developed out of the UK by Psygnosis.
Yep.
And it just represented so much for me at the time in terms of like, this is what modern games can be.
Yeah.
You know, for adults, it's got like a techno kind of soundtrack. It's really fast. It's really cool, actually. Like that's kind of the main thing with WipEout. It's a very challenging game, but also just unlike anything else I'd seen.
Yeah, right. I mean, and I'm reminded of that fact. You mentioned the launch title when I read through your notes, because I had no recollection of that being a launch title. I didn't have a PlayStation on launch. It took me several years till I got one.
Yep.
And so by the time I got on board PlayStation, we were well past 2097.
Yeah. Well, 2097 did in fact come out like a year later.
Yeah,
pretty much to the day. It had like a famously short development cycle. But it was, like, I mean, they actually made great strides with the gameplay in that time. So going back to the original WipEout, and by the way, what we're doing here is I've actually just gone in and just recorded a few kind of laps of a few different courses.
Yes, we already know how difficult it is to speak and drive fast at the same time. Playing
yeah,
WipEout
I can't do it. I mean, maybe 2097, maybe, because it's a little bit more forgiving, but the original WipEout's not very forgiving. So we're just queuing up some bits and pieces. We're going to start off with Carbonis, which is the second course in the game, and we're going to move through a handful of them just as we talk.
Yeah, right. No, I'm happy with this. I'm happy with any anti-gravity games being pre-recorded.
It's the footage is no, there's no future element here. It's in the past. In any case, what I was trying to say is that WipEout was a very unforgiving game.
Yeah.
It was unlike anything you've played before, but you know, like, it's this smooth anti-gravity experience. It's all about going fast. But the reality is that, you know, you bump into the side of the course and you pretty much lose all your momentum.
Down. Yeah.
So you have to master your racing line, and you also have to contend with it's a field of 8 in the original. It's 12 in the sequel, and the sequel is actually a lot more adversarial than the original game was. Yeah. In this game, weapons can't be used to destroy your opponents. They just slow them down.
Yep.
But boy, there's a lot of weapons. There's a lot of pickup pads, particularly on Silverstream, which is the 6th course, and it's a very, very demanding course. And we'll check that out a little bit later. There's just kind of weapons going off all over the place. So this is a game where you almost want to just hop into the time trial, the time trial mode, and just play on your own and master the racing lines, and then hop back into the main game. Because when you play through the championship. By the way, we're looking at Rapier Speed class right now, and we will be throughout this video. But the game actually starts you out on Venom, which is the kind of, it's much slower, much more straightforward.
Yeah.
And like all WipEout games, actually, you kind of have to relearn the racing lines with each jump in Speed class. Because you have to approach it quite differently, because the old way of going around corners is not really going to work at the new speed. Isn't
it funny how just how drastically everything has shifted? Like, we were so happy with a couple of ships and like a small smattering of tracks, and that was, I mean, this is a launch title for PlayStation 1, and you can only imagine how blown away people would have been to sort of see this in action back in 1995. Like, it's
7 courses total.
Yeah. Like, I'm watching this now, and I'm like, you can sort of see just how groundbreaking this would have been.
I had friends round for just months on end, just hanging out playing this game single player. We didn't even get round to kind of system link for a really long time. We only did that a couple of times actually, but it was just unlike anything we'd seen before. I mean, what we can see here is the course design. Like, if you think about, say, F-Zero on Super Nintendo, another anti-gravity racer. and really, really great for what it is.
Well,
But this,
a pioneer, to be fair.
totally.
Yeah.
But what this does differently is, this is EraDos, by the way.
Yep.
What this does differently is introduce precipitous mountains and jumps and these kind of slalom runs, and that's what's so cool about it is the rhythm of the course design is so much about ups and downs, and it's so different to any other racing game. I really, really love it. But what I was going to say was that so once you unlock the Rapier Speed class, you've got your championship, you progress through the six courses in the game. You have 3 attempts on each one, and you have to come first at the end of the championship. Otherwise, it's just game over. So you can get thirds all the way through, and you accrue points for that, but you won't. I finished a session I did before. I finished Silverstream, which is the 6th course, placed second.
Yep.
But I hadn't got enough first places across the championship as a whole, and so it didn't even say congratulations. It was just like game over. And I didn't unlock the 7th course because you got to get first overall. So yeah, it's a little punishing.
Oh man, that is heartbreaking.
But that's the thing is, there might only be 7 courses, but there's a lot of replayability here, and I mean there's very rough edges, right?
Yeah.
Not just kind of in the presentation, the way the polygons come apart at the seams and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
but just rough in terms of AI and just game design stuff that has been ironed out and teased out as this series has progressed over the years. But the core of the gameplay is still so compelling, and I kind of hopped to 2097 after playing this for a while, and there's no doubt that 2097 is a much more accessible game, and it's hard to go back, but playing this in isolation, which is essentially what I've done, because I haven't played a WipEout game for a few years, it's the core is still really, really good. And I also...
There's a nice little turn back there, that really
what
sharp,
I love? I love
90-degree
those
turn.
speed pads there.
Yeah.
Right, because basically the first time you hit those, unless you air brake around the corner, you clunk into the wall. So you have to, that you have to.
Yeah.
There's this technique to just get around that corner in the first place. And this is Silverstream, by the way. This course is so demanding. I still don't really know the racing lines to get through this and quite how to do it. That hasn't come back to me, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
And there you go. Unlike 2097, where you can take these crazy shortcuts by launching off jumps, you can't really stray too far off the course in the original WipEout.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is actually a branching path. So I've just taken the left-hand path, and if I took the right-hand path, there is no way I can win.
Really?
Because it is slower. So, there's these little kind of gameplay kinks, and the other path's kind of more fun as well.
Oh.
But you can't take it because you can't be competitive doing that.
Those tricksters.
Yeah. And what else I love coming back to this game is the default is to start you in first person. And then you have to switch out to the behind, to the chase cam. And
that happens every race.
Yeah, I mean there might be a setting somewhere, but and I think I did play it a little in first person when it originally came out, but it's utterly insane.
Yes.
It's so hard to play like that. And this, playing this again just makes me want to get a Negcon on eBay, because I used to play with a Negcon at one point.
Yeah, I never,
and it was
never
really
had a Negcon.
nice.
Yeah,
it's good. It was a good controller.
So I mean, the thing about WipEout is that it consistently confuses me that it kind of vanished. And I know we had it on Vita, and I know you reviewed that personally, but now it's gone. And
it's such an icon.
Yeah, it seems I don't know. It seems kind of weird for WipEout to be absent from PS4, for instance.
Yeah.
Without any, not even a rumor of it sort of coming back. I feel like you think, you mentioned yourself 20 years. Like, isn't there anybody at Sony that thought to themselves, it'd be cool for the 20th anniversary of WipEout?
Yeah.
We do another WipEout.
Yeah.
Even if it's just via the PSN,
Well,
half a dozen tracks and...
Yeah, they did WipEout HD. However many years ago.
But
so bring that kind of concept back. Do another best of WipEout, maybe. Actually, there's some Wipeout devs who have a Kickstarter at the moment, basically trying to bring the franchise back in everything but name alone.
Yeah.
But name, you know.
Yeah. What is the name of that? I've forgotten what it's called now.
It's called Billy and the Clonosaurus. We're getting a little bit towards the end of what I've recorded, by the way, Luke.
Yes.
So let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
Because this is really just a, hey, remember how cool Wipeout was? And guess what? It's still fun almost 20 years later. Huzzah! And also, soundtrack still slays me. I love...
You like it more than the follow-ups, don't you?
I do, yeah. Because it's a bespoke soundtrack, and so I kind of feel it's a bit more consistent and suits the racing a bit better. But 2097 soundtrack is great. In fact, most of the soundtracks are very strong. But what I love about this is just how much it evokes that kind of mid-90s rave era techno, but it's not the bad side of that. It's actually just good kind of techno-influenced, like futuristic music. So I think it suits the racing really well.
Wipeout with a capital E.
Woo! Avenir Abifa! And that's probably where we should break, I guess.
Yeah. Thanks, Cam.
Thank you, Luke.
Yes. I look forward to seeing your the games that you bring along to this column, because they are really different from the ones that I've played.
Yeah, I think we're gonna complement each other's interests.
I really appreciate Wipeout.
Yeah,
respect it completely. But it's just it's never really been my go-to sort of place.
And I can tell you why I love it.
Yeah. But yeah, for any other suggestions, like we've said in the past, hit us up on Twitter at Mr. Riley, at Jazzabration.
Yep.
And tune in next week for something else. I don't know what it'll be yet, but it'll be good.
It's going to be great. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.